a big test against Syracuse, defending champions, 19 straight unbeaten, looking for 20th. It started against this club, Wake Forest, back on October 7th of 2022 in Syracuse. Wake Forest wearing their gold tops and their black shorts. And of course, Syracuse in their usual orange with the stripes in their blue shorts. As Colin Thomas gets to start again. He started on Tuesday. Thomas to Flax. As Flax being pushed all the way back to the midfield. Tubbs, gotta watch that pressure. They were so good against Louisville, and Louisville will fly all over the field.
Ty, this Syracuse team played an absolute slugfest against Louisville last time out, but they've had some additional rest. And
this is very interesting right here.
Early decision for the referee.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Kyle, but tangled up already, and maybe some extracurricular activities is who goes in the book.
Schuberg, I believe, for the tackle. That is a very early yellow card in the first minute.
Watch the right at the end.
Yeah, he steps right on the foot of Rold Mitchell. He didn't do it on purpose.
Right.
I think Mitchell went down a little late, but yeah, he stepped right on Rold Mitchell's foot. And that is interesting for Coach McIntyre to figure out, because now he's going to have to manage this game with his top center back in the referee's book. We saw Schuberg come off the bench against Louisville, as I'm assuming he's coming back from injury. So Gavin Wigg is going to probably play decent minutes in this game off the bench, you would think, here to spell Schuberg. And it looks like
they're going to look at
they may be having a review here, because I wonder if there's a possible red card in this for that stamp. I highly doubt, Ty, that this is going to be a red card. It looked like it was innocuous during the run of play.
At first, looking at how speed, the speed of the play is, it did look like maybe there was an extra pullback on the foot, but then looking at the replay, what I was seeing was him trying to hurdle over Rold Mitchell.
Yes. So here, like we were saying, you're Coach McIntyre now. How long do you leave Schuberg out there on a yellow card, and how much trust do you have in him?
Flax to Kojima, square ball, lifting it and into the box. And look at this ball. That's delicious. Up in the air and grabbed is Jason Smith. Another transfer portal addition for Ian McIntyre. Booster Sjöberg from Sweden at 6'4", a lot of height in this team, and Syracuse already thirsting, and they will execute straight with their first trip down to their final third. And a goal off the post is by another transfer, Kalukian, the Michigan transfer, highly recruited, comes in and knocks in the first goal in the first 2 minutes.
I mean, just what an immediate attack by Syracuse here. Kalukian with his right foot in off the post from an impossible angle. I mean, you just never expect him to shoot from there. So I imagine Trace Alfin was a little bit caught off guard, and the Wake Forest defense, they weren't caught out. I mean, it wasn't like the Wake Forest defense was, scrambling to cover or anything like that. There was the tiniest of windows to shoot at, and he executed it.
His first goal of the season for Nicholas Kalukian out of Wayne, New Jersey. Came over from Michigan, and now he's at Syracuse, and he scores the first goal of this match.
Ty, we're 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes into this game. We've seen a yellow card and a goal. On your horse, let's go. This is ACC soccer for you.
He was Big Ten all freshman last season. Once he went into the transfer portal, his dad said 31 teams called about him. Thomas will let this one slide out away from the touchline. And now Wake Forest, they have seen this many times this year already, even in the early goings of this season, where they will have to fight back. Down 1-0. This will test your psyche, too.
We've seen the Deacs respond a number of times this year from early punches.
Forbes. That's somebody that can provide a spark, as well as number 16, Kojima. Here's Tubbs. This matchup between Rold Mitchell and Schuberg will be entertaining.
Definitely.
To watch. It already started off with a bang.
Yeah, and it's going to be on Rold Mitchell to try and find space between those three center backs. It is really difficult as a striker to play against a formation like this because there's very little space. Syracuse will be locked in on keeping Rold Mitchell at bay and begging anyone else on this Wake Forest team to beat them.
Orange. Here's Edwards. Edwards. This is tapped back to Baselli. Baselli mishit it. And Wake Forest now trying to get desperately up the pitch as Kalukian scoops it. And they'll try that corner, but it will roll out of bounds. So Syracuse, even after tying Louisville at Syracuse 2-2. Now you remember that match, Louisville struck first early, and then Syracuse came back. The game against Siena, that was a Tuesday game. It was ruled no contest. They didn't go the 70-minute mark. And then they headed down here to the south, here to the campus of Wake Forest. So the Demon Deacons already with a test. There's Ed McIntyre, what a class act he is. 14th season at Syracuse. And I mean, just that jump. Remember, we spoke to him and how those years before was, and Coach Buse even said, even when they were having down years, like in 2021, right? They were still a very tough team to play.
Yeah, he's just such a smart coach. He knows his program, loves his program, promotes his program in really smart and positive ways. He's, like you said, just a class act, and he's comfortable and happy where he is, which, you know, I remember last year we spoke to Coach McIntyre and said, you know, what's the plan for you? You know, things going well at Syracuse. He's got plenty of time left in his coaching career. He's from overseas. Would you consider a professional coaching career? And he said, nope, those days are past me. I'm happy here. This is my spot. And you could tell the way he spoke about it that he meant it, and he loves that central New York area. He's been there for a while.
Kovcheski plays it back to Onyewu. Cummins sitting this high, and it's 1v3 with Rold Mitchell. Solberg hit it off the line. Comes the keeper, Jason Smith. Little contact on the way on that press as Rold Mitchell try to sell it. And there's some fighting in the midfield already. We knew it was going to be a physical game. We talked about how on Tuesday, Gardner Webb was going to play just as physical as Syracuse, and that's exactly right.
Yeah, Cooper Flax did well to get his body in position there and win the foul. Rold Mitchell is going to attack Booster Schuberg because he knows that the Syracuse defender is on a yellow card and will be all game, and he's going to like that. I mean, that is a physical play, and it's going to be up to Rold Mitchell and Booster Schuberg to figure out how much wiggle room will the referee give, because Mitchell's going to try and test those limits smartly, knowing that the Syracuse defender is already on a yellow card.
Edwards, another transfer. Levesque transfer. It's Thomas able to get a foot on that. And this is a very dangerous spot to be knocking the ball around, but fortunately Wake Forest gets bailed out of trouble there.
Ty, think about this too. Yellow cards aren't always won in a single moment. If a player gets an accumulation booking, that can be something that is won over time. So Rold Mitchell won't want to let up. Even if he doesn't think he can get to a ball, challenge. See what happens.
Trying to thread that one to Boselli. Tubbs trying to put his team on his back. Mitchell. Oh, beautiful, delicious ball to Thomas. Thomas inside the box. Oh, and he just was a hair shy of tying this thing up at one.
He had a couple of options at his disposal. He could have taken it first time. Instead, tries to take a touch, brings himself to a tighter angle, but does get clear of the defender and ends up misfiring on goal. He could have taken the shot there. Probably the right decision to take the touch and get closer. He didn't really cut the angle down too much, just didn't have the finish.
We've seen the connection between Thomas and Forbes before. This one would have been Thomas to Forbes if that happened to hit that far post and Forbes knock it in. Still, what a great pass and what a run by Thomas to go 1v1 with the keeper. You can't fault him for that. In the heat of the battle, right?
Yeah, give the defender credit too. Oyegunle was right with him step for step, didn't challenge for the ball. He was beat, but stayed with it and put enough pressure on to force Thomas wide to where he couldn't finish.
Cummins all the way down here. Thomas trying to cut back on the 18. It is very congested as Boselli moves all the way back in the midfield. Remember, he is converted into a striker, but he will drop back in the midfield. Kalukian, he gets his pocket picked. Escribano on the left side. Again, using these the vertical channel, Kyle.
Yep.
Wake Forest.
That's how you
overloads and staying tight though in the middle.
Yeah, that's how you beat a 3 center back defensive line. Vertical balls through the lines, because it's going to be really, really tough to find space one-on-one. You've got to go vertically.
Referees tonight, David Bacher, and then assistant referee Benjamin Wooten and Aaron Riley. It's 1-0. First goal in this contest was not even 2 minutes in. Levesque. Here's Schubert. So 19 matches where they have not been the loser in the end. It's either a win or a tie. And it all started at Syracuse against this Wake Forest squad on October 7th of 2022.
I mean, that's just an incredible streak, Ty. It really is. It speaks to Coach McIntyre. It speaks to the talent he's brought in, and it speaks to the skill these players have to execute this system. That's basically a full season. It's almost a full season, unbeaten. Truly incredible, and it includes a full run through the NCAA tournament. So it's not like they're picking up results against teams that, you know, they would be expected to beat.
Here's Forbes. Forbes trying to send this across. It will reach. Thomas sends this up to Flax. Flax sandwiched between the two defenders. It was a good idea, as Flax did make that diagonal run. I think the positive thing is, Kyle, for the home side is they are kind of opening up that back line for Syracuse.
Yeah, the chances are there. Absolutely.
And those missed hits, you can't have too many of those, especially in ACC play. And that's just miscommunication. So not exactly the best start for Wake Forest. But this team is very deep and very talented. There is Coach Muse, his 9th season at Wake Forest. Sensational job he has done elevating this program. One of the most dominant teams in all of the land since he got here, as far as wins. Hopes that tonight will be a signature win here in 2023.
A lot of work to do in that regard. He's been so good at defending this home Spry Stadium field, but essentially spotted the opponent an early lead. Good recovery by Forbes.
Kovcheski thought he had a lot of time. He didn't. Forbes jumped right in there. Forbes once again bodying up with Schubert. And this is a misplayed ball and searching for Forbes in the middle. Both teams with one shot, of course, the only shot by Syracuse on their first trip down to the final third. It was the first goal of this contest. And there's a miss hit as Alfin, here comes that press. Boselli, oh, he was searching and hunting again for the far stick.
Yeah, and give the Wake defense a ton of credit, because that could have been a deadly turnover. And look at Garrison Tubbs. He ends up going, all right, I got to help my teammate out. He puts himself perfectly in the right position to where Boselli would have had to curl it around him and into the far corner. And between Tubbs and Alfin, they had basically the entire net covered. Well done. Good ball.
Another threaded ball. That's brilliant. Rolled Mitchell. He's done this many times. What can he do here? Mitchell got it tangled up, tried to pull it back when he was falling down. You watched how quickly Syracuse's back line recovered to shut it down.
Yeah, Mitchell could have beaten one defender, but with the second recovering behind him, it would have been almost impossible for him to get through the two of them, basically on an island by himself. Take a look here. He could beat one defender just fine, but look at Booster Schoberg make his way back, and he's the one that dispossesses Mitchell in the beginning. Really well done by that Cuse back line. That's the advantage of having three center backs out there.
Once again, Syracuse building. Wake Forest back line, keeping their shape and moving up. Syracuse dancing and working their bodies inside the 18. It was cleared out of bounds. Wake Forest actually leads this series. Very small series between these two teams. We talk about that history. 5-3-2 all time. Of course, Syracuse wasn't that too long ago. They joined the ACC. Edwards curling. And this is going to be headed out of bounds, and it will be a corner. And this is going to be.
How about this absolutely scrumptious ball from Nate Edwards? I mean, right foot right on a platter there, just inside the penalty spot. Two attackers could have gotten on the end of that, just cleared by the Deeks. That is a dangerous delivery.
Levesque back to Kovcheski tried to clip that one, maybe got a little too much on it. Syracuse resetting, using that long ball, which they do so well as getting the big Giants in there with Schoberg and Belouz. That was Makita that put that one in the air. For Wake Forest, they knew it wasn't going to be an easy home opener in the ACC. And they have to take on the defending champion. They find themselves down 1-0. Syracuse with a lot of changes on that back line from last season.
A lot of changes overall from last season. I mean, they lost the entire spine of their title-winning team. And Ian McIntyre has just completely reloaded.
And they decided their strategy would go to the transfer portal. One freshman coming in this season, all the rest transfers. Which, let me just tell you how difficult that is to bring in new players from elsewhere and then get them all on the same page in such a little time. As Forbes goes down, he takes a tumble. Riding on the back of Forbes was McKenna.
Deeks have found some success in midfield, tracking back with their back to goal and winning fouls. It's been something that the Orange have obliged to so far through the first 20 minutes or so of this game.
Under 25 to go in the first half. Deeks really need Kojima put on his cape. Escribano goes down. And this will be a free kick for Wake Forest. Just right of that D. And surrounding the head official is the entire Syracuse side.
That's not a good look for Syracuse. Their captain has to do the talking. When you've got players who surround the official like that, the official becomes a bit unnerved. It's a bit of a soft foul, but Escribano looked for it, and that's okay. Won the foul. It is a bit soft, and to concede a dangerous set piece in this spot, you'll have wanted the opposition to earn it.
Well, 6'6" and 200. That's that's
it's going to happen.
That happens a lot when you're challenging somebody that has a disadvantage with the height as well as some weight. Speaking of weight, here's a freshman, Liam O'Gara. He's got the range. And he's got the spin. What can he do here? And he sent it right over the bar. Last time he put that had a free kick, he was what, 6 inches from it?
Yeah, he's been known to execute a pile driver every now and then. That one, though, just a bit wasteful. Deeks have been a little bit wasteful so far with their early chances. You think the Colin Thomas chance early in the game, that one as well. They haven't had too many opportunities up front. We'll want to take command of those. We'll see if Leo Garino can get a couple chances.
Noah Singleman over there chatting it up with Coach Muse. There's Bo Cummins. Oh, look at that. Cummins fighting into the 18. A slide tackle block. Well done by Oyagunle, and that's going to be a corner.
Yeah, Bo Cummins didn't have a lot of options there. He maybe could have fed it centrally, but that's covered. Garino's got 2 center backs around him, so he took it himself and went wide, tried to get the tight angle shot, and I think the way that chance panned out for Bo Cummins, he'll take that all day.
Oyegunle has been a menace to all wingers, tracking him down as he knocked down Wake Forest's right back with Cummins. A corner though. What will Forbes do? Looking to level it up. Sent into the box. Punched away by Smith.
That's a brave punch. A lot of bodies in that 6-yard box.
Forbes turning. Forbes has the juice. Forbes! Oh, he was just a partial inch from tying this up. How on earth did that not go in? He picked it off the post.
Off the inside of the post, and then it almost fell to a teammate. Oh, that's so unlucky. What a first touch from Forbes.
Balluz pulls down Cooper Flax, and that will be a free kick for the Demon Deacons.
Pressure coming here from the Deeks. Have a look what a first touch. What a first touch, and then he just catches the inside of the post, and then just out of the reach of Cooper Flax. Oh,
that is why this game is so unfair.
Yeah,
it's just unfair. I mean, the turn by Forbes, the placement. It's just.
I don't think he totally expected the ball to pop up like that, because you could see him recalibrate, but he gets a good hit on it.
Well, in the land of giants down there, Garrison Tubbs and Liam O'Gara
wouldn't be surprised to see Forbes put this on frame here.
Slips it, curling, it's in! The Dinks have leveled it up, but they might, yes, they wave it off. The flag is up.
Yeah.
And right away, Garrison Tubbs in shock, as well as this entire stadium.
We'll have to see it again. It's a tough call. Mpanza is right on the goal line when that's headed across, so it's hard not to be offside from the position that he's in. Yeah, Prince is offside. It's tight, but I
even
think,
when the ball's released.
Well, no, it's on the header. It's on the header across, I think.
But isn't he following the ball? Sorry, it's like my rules analyst, Kyle Bond.
He's right on the goal mouth, so it's hard not to be offside from that position. It's tough. It's tough from that spot, and you have to trust that the assistant referee has the best angle at it.
Right.
It was hard to tell whether they were calling the initial delivery or the header across. I think Mpanza is a little off on that headed delivery across the face of goal. I mean, beautifully constructed.
Right.
Wonderful goal. Just a hair off.
So once again, Kyle, haunting memories of 2018 when Wake Forest thought they had the equalizer against Akron in the NCAA tournament. And it was ruled offside by the smallest of margins. We'll have to go back and look at that again. Great job by our guys, though, back at the studio. Kajima, that is deflected out to be a corner kick. Wake Forest doing a good job of continuing to attack, show their teeth to Syracuse. Take a look at this one more time.
Yeah, take a look right here. I mean, already Mpanza's off right here. Yeah, it's tough to see from that tight angle, but he is at least level with Oyegunle, if not just over.
Wish we could call somebody in New York, right?
get the video review guys on it.
Thomas, Forbes. Oh, he had a small window. I don't know how he got that to at least get it up and into close to the 6. It'll be a corner kick again. Wake Forest, they have lived down there. Syracuse has prided themselves on how many corners they have average per game. Curling, Flax headed away by Booster. Schoberg. The Deacs' confidence, though, definitely has moved up the ladder.
Yeah, these two teams have switched roles. Early it was Wake Forest who were a bit sloppy on 50-50 balls. This time it's Syracuse that cannot win a 1v1 opportunity.
Cummins. He was blanketed by Edwards, and Edwards spraying that one, searching to connect with Boselli. What will the Deacs figure out? Just under 20 to go in the first half, and it's 1-0. The first goal, not even 2 minutes into this match. UVA leading NC State, who is leading the division, 1-0. Here is Kojima. Flax poking. Forbes. I don't know if that was a fake shot or not. Here's Garino. Oh, Garino throwing his body, his legs, everything at it as he falls down and still couldn't get good contact.
Yeah, really well created by the Deacs. A couple of missteps in that, but the first touch is what lets Garino down. He's splitting those two defenders, and he's actually perfectly placed to receive that ball. But I think what he would have wanted to do is settle it on his left and let it roll so he could whack it with his right. Instead, that first touch with his left foot put him in a bad spot and slipped then trying to recover. Just so close, thin margins. I mean, you do all this work off the ball, right, Ty? You spend 95% of the game off the ball. Off-ball movement and positioning is so important, and Garino was in the perfect spot. It's just that first touch that let him down.
Agostini comes in. Vlad Wallant also enters. This is what I'm really interested to see, Kyle, is how the depth will play out for Wake Forest, because one of the luxuries of the Deacs and Bobby Muse is that he has lots of legs he can bring in to tire an opponent. Now, will that work against Syracuse? We don't know, but there are lots of tools in the tool shed. Edwards. Kovaceski wants it. Tubbs. Let that one play right in front of him to clear it. And once again, Syracuse building here in the final third. Levesque from UConn, the transfer. Now there'll be a foul on Wake Forest, which will result in a free kick for the Orange. And that is a huge opportunity for the Orange to grab a 2-0 lead. Blues is in there at 6'6". That is not a mistype. Had an illustrious career at Villanova and then made his way here to Syracuse, a part of 2023 transfer portal gyms for Ian McIntyre.
It's the first foul of this game by Wake Forest after 9 by Syracuse.
Tubbs trying to shadow Blues. A diving header by Kojima. And then a miss hit by Edwards, and Wake Forest will take it.
I mean, I think he did that on purpose, Ty, because had that ball fallen to Vlad Wallant, he had acres of green grass in front of him. That was emergency action.
Tubbs, the captain. Mac Herman Trophy watch list. Cummins. Lost the duel against Edwards. Boselli will lose the duel to Tubbs, even though it goes out of bounds. Levesque. Wow.
That ball was a
Levesque.
knuckler.
And a pocket of space right there to tee it up and then put the laces on it.
That one was bobbing and weaving through the air. Had he been able to put that on frame, that would have been very difficult for Trace Alfin to stop.
Only 1-0. Syracuse, the visitors, defending champs, on top. But Wake Forest has made the Orange uncomfortable. Just have yet to get a tally themselves. 5 shots for the Demon Deacons, 2 for Syracuse. Cubbins. Flax running on with Balluz on it. Balluz, a reckless throw of the foot, was able to get the ball, and upended is Boselli. Maybe a little bit of...
I'll be honest, Ty, both of those were fouls. That one on Flax was a foul. The ref said he got the ball, but he got far more man than the ball. It's a slight touch on that, but that is a danger. And then this is definitely a foul, too. Neither of them. I think that from Tubbs was if you get one, we get one. And the ref let him have it.
Oh, let him play. Levesque with plenty of space and time. Sprays it to Edwards near side. Will Gunlake with a no-look pass there. Edwards one touch. Back to Levesque. Levesque. This is good sequence for the Orange. Back heel by Tubbs. That worked out brilliantly for the home side. Garino trying to backhead that one with Schoberg right on his back. 12 minutes remaining in the first half. Kalukian with his first goal as a Syracuse Orange made it 1-0. And O'Gara tangles up with Boselli, and it's going to be a free kick. And Garrison Tubbs wants an explanation.
Yeah, I don't
know about that.
I don't know what's in that. I mean, he snatches the ball from behind. Maybe catches a foot. I'm
just
not
trying
sure.
consistency, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, the Deeks have got to be careful now because they have conceded goals on set pieces this year. In fact, all 6 goals that they have conceded until this game were on set pieces, and now Kojima's booked because he's not moving out of the way of this free kick.
So Kojima, even though he was some distance away, I'm not sure the actual 10, but
he was right.
The referee was the referee was convinced and was not entertained by how Kojima was somewhat intimidating the kick taker here, which we just saw earlier.
In that scrum.
The distance is there for this kid. Levesque. That's looking for the far corner. And that will be negated. So you bring in Levesque from UConn, who has 1 goal and 2 assists on the season out of Nice, France. Got the first goal for the Orange off that turnover against Louisville, which was textbook as far as press.
Yeah, how about the
Turned
press
them
here
over.
too?
Yep.
They're coming right for the Deeks.
Garino, Louisville, a top 10 team. Bad Vlad Wallet. And the clearance, but then the contact. And the Deacon fans here at Spry up in arms.
That's clean.
Yep.
Oyegunle won the race.
Yep, that's true.
That's really good defending because Vlad Wolent is pacey.
Another substitution. Diaz Bonilla, who's come in. Swallen has also come in. As Coach Muse looking for his seasoned vets in this battle. Wake Forest will welcome in back-to-back national champions. How about that for your slate?
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you when you're in the ACC. It's top
Next Friday will be Clemson. They won in 2021, and then 2022 champion Syracuse Orange. Also, don't forget you have Liberty on Tuesday. I mean, you have to be deep.
Yep.
You have to be deep.
Yep. A lot of minutes to go around
Against really good teams.
Look who's coming in for Syracuse. The Boston College transfer, huge prospect that went to Boston College, is Michael Susky. Was not on the roster at Boston College last season, and then returned to action, but playing for the Syracuse Orange.
It's Jake Swallen into the game for Wake as well.
And Perez, that's going to be Jeffrey White. Escribano, nice step. Garino making that diagonal run. Escribano, he's got an option. Oh, White will get it. Here's White. White. Nice turn. Inserted White. He can hit it from there. Swallen. Here's a scoop and a clip ball by Kojima that just was not read right. Maybe that was intended for Garino.
Somebody's got to take a shot there, Ty. Somebody's got to take a hit. Anything can happen. You get a deflection out for a corner, test the goalkeeper. A lot of things can happen. At some point, the best spell the Deeks have had in this game, they were taking shots, and the pressure never let up.
Still 5-2 in shots. Wake Forest leads. Wallant. He was getting grabbed on. So that'll be a free kick for the home side. This is the 11th meeting between these two teams. Last year, 2-0 in favor of the Orange. And then it was 2-0 in favor of Wake Forest in 2021. Right here on this pitch. Courtesy of Baba Niang, who we have not seen tonight yet. Garino turning. And that half space. Good defense by the Syracuse Orange. And once again, using that right channel. And Panza. Kojima. Lifting that high in the air, searching for Jeffrey White. Swallen, able to get enough on it to send it back to his support in Bo Cummins. Here's Panza. Oh, Kojima. Surprised Cummins didn't say leave. Cummins. White, the freshman out of Tampa, Florida. Garino. Garino can create as well as Kojima. It's bunched. Kojima out. Kojima stops. Sends it. Nobody running on the far stick. Escribano trying to keep this in play. And that will be a throw-in for the Demon Deacons. Escribano, what hustle by him getting down there and keeping it alive.
Brilliant job by Kojima. I mean, that cutback completely fooled the defender, but then his cross was a bit overcooked.
Well, the Demon Deacons, it's not like they have been shut out there in that their attacking third. They have been there quite a few times tonight. But yet they still searching for that goal to level this up at 1. Just under 5 minutes to go in the first half. Garino will go down, and this will be a booking. So another booking to the Orange. Levesque.
Oop, nope, I was mistaken there. Sorry, Ty. There's Oyaguni who was booked.
Okay.
Levesque was in the area.
Yeah.
Mistaken identity.
And that Penn State match, which looked to be where the streak would end, Syracuse was playing with 10 men and then got the equalizer late. This is a good ball, and that flick by Syracuse almost ended up in Garrison Tubbs' wheelhouse.
Yeah, it almost ended up in the back of the net, too. That would have been a tough way to concede right before the half.
Swallen. Short option will be Jeffrey White. About 5-6 targets inside the box. Swallen, a little too heavy. They could call handball. Is that the call?
I'm actually surprised that they didn't call advantage there, because Cuse had a break. That's what the Orange players are complaining about right now. There was clear advantage that could have been played. Yeah, that's a handball. But then look, this ball falls right to Levesque, and he's got acres of space.
Right. Yeah.
That should have been played advantage.
That was Carino trying to see if he could settle that ball. Swallen maybe just got a little too much on that one. Remember, he's slowly but surely getting his touch that will sit there at 100% of the match. Was able to score against Gardner-Webb on Tuesday off a PK, but
good tackle by Kajima there.
He's slowly but surely turning back to the Jake Swallen we knew from 2021. Such a great player and an outstanding individual. The Deacons will rely on him. Levesque comes out with it. And nicely read by Mpanza. Jeffrey White. He is the freshman. That's a handball. Last defender.
No.
It clearly popped up, but Oyagunle.
I will say there was a chance for a yellow card in general, because a handball from that spot should be a booking.
Right.
It's not a last man foul. It's not a red card, but that should have been a booking. And remember, he's already on a yellow.
Right. And what that does is what, Kyle? It allows all the players to get back on defense.
That's why it should be a yellow.
Right. That's right. Swallen. Swallen. He can hit it. Swallen. Oh, knocked away by Jason Smith. Swallen. He has got a dangerous foot. And it almost found the back of the net to even this up at 1. He'll get another swing at it from the corner on the far left flag. Swallen. He has a silky touch, still trying to get it back, but he's got it.
Cuse has that short corner covered real tight.
Wallet. High. Wallet. High in the air and then hit the roof of the cage.
That was not far. That was not far from the top corner. Wow. Who knows if he meant to do it or not? Who cares? That would have been gorgeous.
It was a brilliant idea. Wake Forest really has played well in response to the early goal by Syracuse. They're just unfortunate and unlucky to be trailing 1-0. Syracuse knows how essential it is to basically keep your foot on the throats of a Wake Forest team, which is why they were quickly surging up to that final third. They get the second goal before half. They're not trying to bleed out the clock. As they work right here, turnover could result into something. Nice step by Tubbs. Escribano threading it, looking for Guarino. This is going to be a chase to the touchline. White going up against Edwards. And Edwards, with a small touch, will fall down. And will slowly make his way up. Now they'll bleed out the clock. Kovcheski in the closing seconds. Deadly foot. And Wake Forest and Syracuse will finish the first 45. 1-0. The Orange on top with a very early goal by the Michigan transfer. The new 2023 transfer portal gem, Nicholas Kalukian. And he makes it 1-0 in the second minute. That's where we stand, Kyle. What do you think?
A lot of football left to be played is what I think. The second half is going to be fascinating because you've got 2 of the 3 Syracuse center backs on yellow cards. Both teams have had good chances. The Deeks have made mistakes, but they've also had some big opportunities. This will be a fun one.
It is already fun. We got more coming up after this.
It was intense even after the match. Just trying to have a discussion with Coach Muse. I mean, it was the same reaction he had in November with a close game. And I almost wanted to check. Did this count? Was this the opener? I mean, but Denver's very good. And that ended in a draw. And Wake Forest down 1. And we are underway here in the second half. Wake Forest.
This game is wide open right now. All to play for. Both teams have a real shot at picking up points.
A good look by Bo Cummins. That may have just took his eye off of it, but he went into that pocket, was able to have enough room to at least get it off his foot.
Ty, very few substitutions in that first half for Ian McIntyre. You look at this Wake lineup right now that's out there. Jake Swallen remains from the substitutions, but you've got Colin Thomas back in after coming off and Rold Mitchell back in.
Thomas up ahead to Rold Mitchell. Rold Mitchell. And Schoberg has been given the assignment to shut down Rold Mitchell, one of the leading scorers in the ACC. One of the top scorers in the country as well. Rold Mitchell. Nice, clever play. Able to connect with Thomas, but Thomas had to come right back out. Escribano sending this one a line drive that is volleyed away. Kalukian knocks down Cummins and immediately a whistle. Prince and Ponza, the 2 center backs, how crucial they are. And Ponza thought for sure he had the equalizer, but he was ruled offside. Oh, brilliant play by Rold Mitchell. Kajima.
Jeffrey White out there. He's still on the field too. I failed to mention him from the first half substitute bunch.
Jeffrey White, a big get, part of this top 10 recruiting class, once again built by this coaching staff. Dane Brenner, Steve Armas, and Bobby Muse. Sometimes with soccer, it's just a well-driven ball that can be the difference. And we saw that in the first 2 minutes. But not to put their head down, Wake Forest really stuck out their chest and fought back. They have owned possession. They own on the shot tally so far, but unfortunately trail 1-0. Out wide. This will be an interesting challenge as Syracuse once again trying to come up with an early goal. And they were able to get a touch inside the box there. This press, something to watch. And it's just relentless. You talk about, having Louisville turn it over. Sventov is a very good keeper, and he was rattled by this Syracuse press. It is resilient. You think that you've got some space for somebody to run on to place the ball, and sure enough, somebody in orange jersey shows up. Rold Mitchell shows up there, gets driven down to the ground. This will be a free kick. That was Belouz that had his forearm on Rold Mitchell.
Yeah, and you know what? He did the right thing because Mitchell was about to drive into the penalty area and have a good look on goal. He did it right before the top of the penalty area, and also they got a bit lucky because Booster Schoberg, who was on a yellow card from that first minute of the game, attempted to trip Rold Mitchell because he knew he'd been beat, and at the last possible second remembered that he was on a yellow card and let Rold Mitchell go by. So if he makes a different decision there, you could be looking at 10-man Syracuse.
Who's behind it? Swallen. Oh, he was trying to snipe that top left corner. He gets even closer. And a yellow card now given again to another Syracuse.
Yeah. I mean, look at this. First of all, that might have taken a tiny deflection there, but either way, I think that's Nate Edwards who got booked. I'm not quite sure what for. Nope, that's Coach Chesky
who got it.
I do not know why.
Maybe he yelled, so I don't know either.
Yep. It was definitely in the aftermath of that.
Wake Forest, the PKs this season, they've had so many, and we're still early into this season. And a lot of that is how Rold Mitchell, his soccer IQ is brilliant because if he can turn, get free, and he gets contact, he goes down. And 9 times out of 10, it's the right call. Just how dangerous Rold Mitchell is. So is Jeffrey White. Little 1-2. Swallen, he can bang it from there. So can Jeffrey White. Oh, and he just sent it over the bar.
Chances starting to pile up for the Deeks. They will certainly be happy with the pressure they're putting on this Syracuse back line, but at some point you've got to start testing the goalkeeper. Jason Smith has gotten used to watching the ball sail over the crossbar. You go all the way back to the Colin Thomas chance in the first couple of minutes right after Syracuse took the lead. And Smith is going to get a pain in his neck from watching the ball sail over the crossbar so many times. Got to test the goalkeeper, put it on target.
Just keep shooting.
That's right.
I mean, you find your spots, you find your opportunities, good angles, and then let it ride. You've got weapons back there that can shoot it from distance. Escribano trying to draw that offside, and the flag goes up. Escribano also a very experienced outside back.
I tell you what, Ty, Christian Escribano has had an outstanding game. I mean, he has been right where the Deeks need him every time they are needing defensive help. His first touch has been really good. He's delivered some great crosses and through balls.
Another good idea. Rold Mitchell was eyeing Thomas and just overcooked on that pass to the corner. We've had weather issues that we haven't quite seen the usual showing by the Wake Forest fan base here at Spry because of delays and weather and all that stuff. But tonight, no weather, at least in our time right now. And that has brought a lot of fans out. And that is very appreciated by this Wake Forest team. And that will get your adrenaline pumping, which I think that's why you see some of these balls overcooked. And they talk about playing under the lights at Spry a lot with his squad. It has been a very difficult place for opponents to play. And Syracuse holding on to a 1-0 lead. Kojima. Cummins challenged by Boselli. O'Gara will usher this one to Escorbano. Escorbano wants that one to Singleman. Singleman thought he had a lot more time, and he didn't. Escorbano has been all over the pitch. You're right, Kyle. He has been everywhere.
He's pinching in really well in the attack. You see him up there in the attacking third at the top of the penalty area. He's defending extremely well.
Golcheski, tightrope act on that touchline. And we have two new orange players coming in. You'll see Wig, who has been starting at that center back position. And then you will also see NC State transfer, Pedregosa. I mean, played from 2019 to 2022 for the Wolfpack.
It's interesting that
Coach Keefe.
Gavin Wigg looks like he's come in at fullback, potentially.
Kalukian was trying to get that one into the box. Old Mitchell, trying to look for a pathway around, and that touchline really got there in a hurry. So Singleman goes out. Singleman, he's also had a knock. He's trying to get 100% too. And we talk about how great this Syracuse team is, but some of these leaders on this team are not quite 100%, which, congratulations, rest of the ACC. Wait till they get healthy.
Actually, it's McKenna who's gone up at right wing back from his center back spot.
So McKenna want to get the duel back right at the byline. Tiptoes. And Kalukian, talk about the tightest spaces. And it's deflected out, so it will be a corner for the Syracuse Orange. McKenna came from Niagara. Niagara head coach played with Ian McIntyre in college, so he knows him well. And was able to see McKenna and said, I think he can do some damage for us. Here's Levesque. Left foot in swinger, curling back stick, and immediately brought in by Trace Alford. He read that well.
Yeah, and he wanted to go quickly on the break too and find an outlet, but there wasn't anything there. Smart to pull it back, but boy, he really wanted that. It's a goalkeeper's dream to start a counter right from catching a corner.
And Ponza into a nice pocket. Here's Thomas. McKenna awaiting, and then he pokes it away. Belouz up ahead to Kalukian. This will be an interesting track meet, but won by Cummins. Early doors, second half. 1-0. A goal in the second minute. That's it. And Syracuse leading
Deeks
I just won.
Deeks with an 8-2 shot advantage.
Yeah.
Just have not been able to put them on frame. They really have controlled large stretches of this match.
On that game against Pitt at Pitt, the second half, Wake Forest actually outshot Pitt and actually won the possession battle, but still went down 3-0, and that scoreline is probably not fair. Even Coach Vidovich said they probably could have gone both ways, but just how it's tough in the ACC. Already a tough assignment to have your ACC opener on the road against Pitt. Pitt, who also went to the College Cup last season. And then you get the College Cup winner.
And it's because they're able to win games like this, Ty. Still a lot of soccer left to be played, but they've really been under siege for a lot of this game and have managed to survive with a lead. Even the Louisville game, they end up with a 2-2 draw, you know, with conceding a late equalizer. They're still managing to survive.
Cummins. Kajima slows it down, trying to look for where he wants to go. Plays it back to Tubbs, and Tubbs will now surge ahead. Escobar. That may not be the ball that was intended for him, but at least he made an attempt to go get it. Now Baselli, he's into space, and Ponzo waits. Cummins blocks that one. Huge block by Cummins. And Syracuse had some numbers to possibly go up 2-0.
Yeah, Escobar was late tracking back on that break. He was caught high, and really good pass to the opposite side. Just a block by the Cuse defense. This is a yellow card for back on the other end. The referee played advantage at the start of that counterattack.
And the yellow card goes to, is it Escobar?
I think so. Yes. That's why he was caught high up the field. Yeah, there's definitely a foul there to relieve the pressure for Wake.
So Escobar goes into the book. Another physical contest between these two. It always is. Wake Forest very technical. Hoping to get technical here. Forbes again. I don't know how he can turn, but he split the defense. It was clipped up in the air. He tried to swim to get in front or get on the ball, and no call.
Oh my goodness, Ty. I don't know. We'll see it again, but that is a clear foul and a yellow card. It's not a last man foul because there is a defender there, but Ty, that is a big chance for the Deeks that was missed.
Yes.
I mean, that was as clear as day that Mitchell had been yanked back.
Yeah, my mouth is dropped just because watching the replay, which, by the way, our team's been outstanding tonight, as always. Can't even take a second of a breath before they've got the replay up, and you just don't want to hear me say, hey, can we look at that again? Hats off to you guys, as always, as well as our camera crew. Brilliant. And to Drew D. Marcantonio, my favorite director of all times. An offside call. Kalukian, and he is, yep, he is offside there, and then he came back. He started in offside position, then came back, and the side judge was right on it.
Tubbs one of the best at being able to see those. He's always right on top of it.
Tubbs asserting himself. This is up ahead. Jeffrey White looking for somebody to lay it off. He laid it right back to Tubbs. Tubbs. Here's Swallen. Swallen. Another inserted pass looking for number 9, Roll Mitchell. And Mitchell was double teamed on that one. Syracuse trying to quickly get up the pitch. Kalukian ran out of space. We got a substitute coming in. This is Jelani Forbes. And Jelani Forbes looks like he will make his way over here to the left and switch with Colin Thomas. So it looks like Colin Thomas will now patrol the right channel.
Deeks have really controlled this second half, Ty. Syracuse has had a couple of opportunities, half chances, if you will, but this Wake Forest defense has held firm. They've marked attackers when they needed to, and Hughes just holding on right now for dear life. And that is how sometimes you have to survive in this ACC. Because the conference is loaded, and sometimes you're going to be put under pressure. They have been put under pressure for large stretches of this game. Deeks just have not been able to capitalize.
How unbalanced it is in the foul department. 14-4. Syracuse with 14 fouls, 4 for the Demon Deacons.
And some we've seen let go too.
Syracuse bunched and working into that final third. Solid job by Thomas, able to kind of box that one out and allow the clearance. Flax will come in for Swallen. Swallen will get a breath, maybe come back. Good PT by Jake Swallen. Coming in off the bench. And a couple good looks. Escribano quickly sends this up ahead. As Mitchell challenging with Wig, and that's going to be a handball on Makina. And Ponza thought he'd tied it up. But it was ruled as an offside call. Forbes. And that's brilliant work by Jason Smith, because a lot of times we've seen where the goalie does not come out in time and Forbes eats him up. This time Smith immediately came out to squash that attack by Wake Forest. Smith did not hit that the way he wanted.
Syracuse has changed to a 4-man back line, which is interesting. You've got Makina at right back, and I believe Pedregoso and Wig are the 2 center backs.
It's a good step by Blues.
Sorry. Wig and Schoberg are the 2 center backs, and then Pedregoso is at left back. And from that point, a 5-man midfield anchored by Blues at D-mid, and then just the 1 attacker up front in Kalukian. It's an interesting tactical switch, because McIntyre is so known for and used to using that 3-man center back system.
Right.
So he's clearly seen something that they're going to try and hem the Deeks in a bit.
Brilliant link up. Here's Kojima. Has connections. Cummins. Kojima.
Oh, Cooper Flax. Oh, and he just got his torso back just a little bit, and that sent it again high and over the bar.
Absolutely glorious play by Bo Cummins, who got that ball from Kojima and then sent it right back. He recognized that Kojima had tons of space right there out at the top of the penalty area. Kojima put a good shot in, and well done by the Cuse defense to make the block. Bit of a problem here for Smith.
Onslaught of shots again by the Demon Deacons. And as Jason Smith, the new keeper, replacing Sheely, who's also off to the pro ranks out of Fresno, California, came over from Utah Valley. Was USL League 2 Team of the Year this past summer for the Park City Red Wolves. We got some more changes. Leo Garino has come in for Rold Mitchell. The Deacons have prodded, they have teased, but yet they still sit down 1-0. A new flavor of striker with Leo Garino.
Garino looked really good in his cameo in the first half.
He did.
Really good with the ball at his feet. It seems like the ball sticks to his feet sometimes.
Wig. Flax coming down on him. Trying to get over the top. Not sure that was Escribano's intention to give it to Impanza, but Impanza deflected it, and once again Escribano rescues it and keeps it back into play. Here comes Garino. Sprays it out wide to Thomas. Thomas waiting for numbers to get in the box. Thomas, can he do it himself? Cutting back. Still in the fight. And that final ball still can't quite get there. Tubbs. Maybe.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one for the referee here because the Tubbs has every right to the ball in the air, but you can't climb up over the back of the opponent. So I understand why the referee makes this call, and I understand why Tubbs is frustrated. I'll be honest,
he didn't
on second view, that's not a foul.
That's not a foul.
I thought live I was with the official because that did look like he was climbing the back. Yeah. But that's not a foul.
That's what I thought.
If anything, the Syracuse player ducked underneath, and it looked like Tubbs went up over the back. That's one. If you're called for the over the back in basketball, you'd be frustrated.
Yeah, I mean that you could tell by the reaction of Coach Muse, and then looking at that. Yeah, I think the referee assumed that Garrison Tubbs climbed on the back, but that was clearly not the case. He won the ball first. And more bad luck for the home side as we now move about 21 and a half remaining. And Syracuse holding on to a 1-0 lead. Will that be enough to get the 3 points? A superior conference like the ACC. Last season, Wake Forest was the 4th ranked team, going up to upstate New York. Kovcheski, right-footed, in-swinger, high in the air, back stick, and a little prematurely he was Kalukian jumping and just got that top of his head, which is frustrating as a player. $20 and a half. Not sure exactly what's going on, but the clock continues to tick. And Syracuse will take advantage of it as Jason Smith will wait for his players to get all the way up before giving it a ride.
There's been a couple of mishits from Smith here in the last few minutes. He's put a couple out of play.
Escribano. Flax. Knew that contact was coming. Forbes. Overlapping run is Flax. Forbes inserts into the middle. Forbes trying to lay that one in front for Thomas. It was taken away in the orange. They're looking to quickly get up the pitch themselves. Kalukian off the chest. Had trouble settling. Good challenge again by Escribano.
One thing the Deeks have done really well in this match, Ty, is completely negate the Syracuse counterattack. They have not had a single opportunity on the counter. Every time the ball gets up to Kalukian, there's no options. I tell you what, we have not seen Lorenzo Baselli here in the second half. I don't think at all.
Yeah, good call.
And if we have, it's not much.
He leads all scores, turning into a striker this season. Oh, this is brilliant. Flax! Oh! And Flax, he could almost taste it.
How about that ball from Jose Kajima? I mean, you can't produce a better vertical ball than this. It's right through the gates. He sees the run by Flax before he even makes it. And just the shot is too central.
And even as quick as that release was for Flax, it still was deflected and defended well. Flax has seen some nice looks. Now a wrestling match in the corner. It looks like Cummins is down. Battling up with Kovcheski. Cummins, hopefully he will be okay. Grimace on his face. Kovcheski, the senior from Liverpool, New York, not too far from Syracuse, actually grew up going to Syracuse games as a kid. And then ended up donning the orange and winning a national championship with him.
He has really blossomed into an enormous player for this Syracuse team. I mean, he was a member of the ACC All-Tournament team and the NCAA Tournament All-Tournament team.
3 assists for him on the season. He was also the one who kicked the penalty kick against Wake Forest in that match. Well, they won 2-0.
Brewster Schoberg off the field now for Syracuse. Jackson Glenn in. So they may be going, yep, they have, it looks like returned. Nope, I think they're still playing the four defender system. Either way, you've got Schoberg and Oyegunle both off the field. Those were the 2 center backs that were booked in this game. So Syracuse head coach Ian McIntyre is playing it safe right now with his 2 players on a yellow card.
Jackson Glenn, remember his performance in the NCAA College Cup in the semifinals against Creighton. O'Gara, Wake Forest putting their hard hat on and going to work on another attack. Looking, searching to tie this up. And a hit that was intended for Forbes. Forbes may have stopped his run and immediately shows to Prince and Pons it was his fault. Jeffrey White back in. He replaces Colin Thomas. And in for Syracuse is Julius Roch. And he's also been part of this Syracuse team for a long time. Roch from Germany. A lot of Germany imports. Coach McIntyre. As Kalukian goes out.
Levesque goes out 2, and Singelman comes in. Singelman also from Germany. Flax. The fight continued. Able to win it. Garino to the left to Forbes. Forbes back to Sidney Paris. 1-2. Sidney Paris down is the point. There it is. Sidney Paris did have a beat on it. Felt the contact and immediately went down. Brilliant play by the Navy transfer. And he will get a chance to even this thing up.
And
with 15.5 to go.
Give Coach Muse a lot of credit, seeing that this game was screaming for Sidney Paris. His introduction has been huge. Just 1-2 perfectly, and yeah, I mean, it couldn't get clearer than that. He's pointing at the ball, but no.
So once again, a team that is no stranger to PKs this season.
A little bit of gamesmanship from Pedregoso here, trying to get Sidney Paris off his game.
4 of 5 on the year.
And gamesmanship right back at Syracuse. Sidney Paris was decoying that he was going to take. And then instead it's Cooper Flax.
Well, they're going to review it.
Why?
Sorry, that was just great reaction.
I don't know what there is to review there.
It's confirmed.
I don't know what you're reviewing.
That was
It was
great
clear
reaction
as
by
day.
UConn. Why? So it is confirmed. We will get a PK 12 yards away. It'll be Sidney Paris, one of very few transfers to this Wake Forest team. Will go up against a transfer from Utah Valley. Sidney Paris, of course, this is his 2nd year. Played with the Puerto Rican national team. He's from Canada. And Sidney Paris, this is like waiting at the doctor's office. Every tick seems like an hour. And he's like, let's just get with it. Let's get to it, because all it does is mess with your head, right? And it's gamemanship. What did they look? I don't understand what they're looking
Yeah, I don't understand.
Okay, they're checking about disciplinary. So the yellow card will go to number 5.
I don't.
But then that also, yeah, go ahead, Kyle.
I don't understand that, because at least from the rules that I'm understanding, you can't review yellow cards. The only things you can review are penalty decisions and reds. I mean, you should have gotten a yellow card. It was pretty clear. Oh, okay, all right. So you can review identity of the booked players. So I guess they were reviewing which player was booked.
Sidney Paris, and he's tied it. It's 1-1. We're level, and we still have 15.5 to go.
Ty, the Deeks have worked so hard for that equalizer. Chance after chance after chance. They have controlled this second half. They have been on top of the game, and finally a reward for their efforts. And now you wonder what's to come over these last 15 minutes, because the Deeks will be very, very inspired to go for a win here. But we are well aware of what Syracuse can do. Really good penalty. He hid where he was going to go with that. Kept his hips square until the final moment. That's a very, very well executed penalty by Sidney Paris.
Sid Vicious with a vicious strike. 12 yards away. And we've got 15.5 and a second to go. And we are level 1-1. From Oakville, Ontario, with the Canadian pipeline that Syracuse has, would you have thunk that the Canadian for Wake Forest would be the one who scores to level it up? Good idea, cut away. And Garino sends this one high in the air, searching for
Rold Mitchell. Confidence and momentum clearly on Wake Forest's side, and it's even ticked up a notch where they truly believe, and rightfully so, that they can steal the 3 points. And Rold Mitchell called for a suspect foul. We play on. Level at 1. Blocked this time. It's Forbes who blocks that one. That's Jackson Glenn, who had a good look trying to send it into the 18. Jackson Glenn will throw it in. That had me cringe there on that slide tackle. Forbes was about to get hurt there, but fortunately he did not.
Deeks have got to be careful because you can get a little overzealous and let the opponent right back in. They've done a really good job to keep their emotions in check here since the goal.
11 shots by the Deacons. Risky pass, but it is able to connect with O'Gara. And Tubbs, long ball, using the speed. And then brought down like a shoestring tackle. And Jeffrey White.
Yeah, Pedregoso looked like he was a safety, trying to make a shoestring tackle, like you said, on a running back clean through on touchdown.
Close to the pylon. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yep. Right around the ankles.
Man, Jeffrey White.
I learned a tackle like that in high school because we had an all-state running back, and I was a scout team safety. It was either tackle like that or get truck sticked. And I'd rather keep my head on my shoulders.
Look who's behind this ball, Kyle. It's Sid Vicious again. Sidney Paris. What will we come up with here? Rold Mitchell threw his foot at it. Forbes did not get the contact he wanted, man. He wanted that one to fall a little bit lower so he could get a clean contact with his laces on it, but he skied it high.
There's Baselli.
So Baselli has returned. Baselli won his 4th national championship last season after winning 3 in his former school. The Deeks really feeling it.
And Baselli bounced around a number of youth clubs when he was in Italy. And he told a publication last year, he said, I decided to come to the U.S. because I thought I could win more. How about 4 national championships?
And once again, Sidney Paris hits the pitch. It'll be called. That was the Agostino. Felipe is from Brazil. He comes over from Oral Roberts. He's Summit League Player of the Year. Had 9 goals last season. The era of the transfer portal. The right idea, just nobody was there for Syracuse to make that run on into the 18. So Wake Forest got to wait cleanly on that one. And they will look to build from the back as the clock ticks, flirts with 10.5 remaining. Sidney Paris immediately closed down by Kovcheski. He's one of the leaders of this team. Also a USL League II Team of the Year with the Long Island Rough Riders this past summer. They lose. And Wake Forest with a quick restart. That kind of reminded me of that Miami
Kansas City game. Remember when Busquets immediately the restart. He was smart. The referee said play on, and then ended in a goal for Inter Miami.
Ball just has to not move for a second.
Roll Mitchell, no, he was waiting, and then he got there. I don't know about that. That I thought for sure that Roll Mitchell waited until that ball was released, but he's not upset with it. I know it's a tough job for the side judge.
Very. You have to watch two things at once.
You really do. And timing is huge, and that is a foul on Escribano. Six ACC teams ranked in the top 25. Of course, most. How many times we got to say this? It's every year. Let's just hit a repeat. Most of any conference. Look at this fight.
Well done by Forbes. Oh, look out.
That is reckless.
That's got to be a booking. Yeah.
I mean, that is another card given. This is Singelman. Singelman, who is also very experienced. In fact, he left $200K on the table, second league Bundesliga team to come to the States. Oh. That was Jackson Glenn, pardon me. So should be Jackson Glenn getting the yellow card. Originally two.
Yeah, there's your
Singelman. Yep.
Mistaken identity. I wonder if the referee corrected himself or if that ended up to Singelman.
It looked like he was calling to Singelman, but it goes to Jackson Glenn. That is correct. It's in the book correctly. 8.5. Wake Forest looking for a couple more trips into their final third. $12 shots, just 5 for Syracuse. So this is how we got here. And you blink and it was 1-0. A shot with no rotation, pings it off the post. And then this. Sidney Paris comes off the bench and with energy and resilience is able to get into the 18, tripped up, that gets a PK called, and then he buries it to tie it up. Kalukian back in. And Kojima, he knew he was guilty on that one, just kind of throwing his foot out there, but sometimes that is just the way the momentum, how your body is. But yes, it was not the ideal way to address that. And that will be a free kick. Of course, don't rule out how dangerous Syracuse is in these set pieces. Wake Forest has worked resiliently this week on defending set pieces. And Syracuse really loves to send that long diagonal ball searching for that far stick and that crash, which I think if I was in McIntyre, I would say the same thing. If you got somebody that's 6'6", 6'4", you try to go to the far stick and immediately crash.
Yeah, and Syracuse, Wake Forest has defended set pieces really well today, it must be said. We've obviously watched them struggle this year defending dead ball situations, and today they've been really good at it. Cuse has had a couple of opportunities, and they just haven't had anything come of them.
Yeah, they worked hard on that in training. Garino, it's up and over. Flag stays down. Garino! Oh, and deflected. It was right in his wheelhouse. I mean, the recovery, again, by both teams defensively. Garino, any other opponent, maybe minus the ACC, he's going to bury that and make it 2-1.
Yeah, and give Garino credit, too, because he held firm on that. He could have given up on that with the defender recovering.
Here's a corner. Another one for Wake Forest. They use the short option. Forbes clips it in. Sidney Paris brings it right back into the box, and
too much weight on that one. And even Prince Impanza knew he was in an offside position. He stopped dead in his tracks. 5:22 remaining. Wake Forest did not have a tie last season. They're flirting with another tie here in 2023. They've had their taste of draws this season. But remember when we watched and we went back last season, it seemed that draws actually weren't weighted as badly. It almost seemed that draws seemed to work out in your favor. So maybe that does work out in the favor of Wake Forest, and a last-second clearance by O'Gara. That was most likely going to be the game winner, as O'Gara was able to clear it. Forbes wants to quickly get up, gives it to Swallen in the center. The maestro. Reset. Was unaware that Kalukian was coming down hard on Prince Impanza. Rolled Mitchell. And I believe Swallen was possibly, he started in an offside position and came back. Let's take a look at that last chance by Syracuse, how close it was.
Yeah.
I mean, that is
good recovery by O'Gara, because that touch from Impanza was about to tee up a Syracuse attacker.
Sure was. Is there any more fireworks left in this one? High kick, but advantage. And Sidney Paris is off to the races. What can he do here? Lays it off to the left to Forbes. Forbes able to get a deflection and out of bounds for another corner. Wake Forest, if coming into this match you say Wake Forest would have more corners, I would have maybe taken that bet, right? But because how many corners Syracuse has had this entire season. But Wake Forest already with their 7th corner kick of the night. Forbes will deliver it with his left foot and an outswinger. Could they hammer it home? Into space, Swallen, Kojima, scuffed it. Back heel, O'Gara, O'Gara! Oh, ho, ho, ho. With heat behind it, Jason Smith, just to defend his well-being, put up his hands to knock it down.
Yeah, and anywhere else, this is a goal. I mean, it's a tough chance because the ball is bobbling away from net, and O'Gara had to reconfigure his center of gravity. That's a foul.
Kalukian goes down. O'Gara, a little late on that. 2 minutes and some change remaining. A heated battle, which 1-1 doesn't really tell you the excitement and the energy we've seen since the start. Well played into the box. Syracuse. Here's Swallen. Swallen lifts it. Forbes got wheels. Forbes has space. Forbes across. Wallen! Oh, he's there! Roll Mitchell can bury it. Here's Mitchell. And it's deflected out, and once again, it'll be a corner. How many looks could we have in that sequence?
Well, this ball from Forbes. Wallen just behind Smith, who makes an excellent save there and recovers well.
Time ticking. Forbes will take it. And after wait is some wrestling inside the 18, close to that penalty mark. Garrison Tubbs getting a talking to.
All bodies slammed in there. Can Wake Forest come up with an heroic game winner? Forbes curling it in the air. Still up for anybody's grabs. Sidney Parrish escapes. Parrish deflected off of Tubbs. Tubbs chasing it down. Sidney Parrish gets it. A minute remaining. Parrish able to whip it across. Wallen was there.
Oh, that looked like a corner, and this is a goal kick. I could have sworn this was defended out. Yeah, hits the head of Wallen. Good call.
This is a tie ball game. Level, of course, but Wake Forest fight is deserving of a win. And I mean, just to say that, I mean, you're taking on the reigning champs. They get the first goal. To see you with 16 shots to the champs 5, and constantly onslaught and sitting there in the final third. That is, I know it could very well end in a tie, and it will. But man, what an effort by Wake Forest. That will stop the clock though at 2 seconds. Am I wrong? I mean, Wake Forest really came out, and after that goal, again, showed their teeth and came out swinging.
Yeah, they really controlled this match, and this referee's not taking anything from these Syracuse players. It's been a really high quality fight from this Deacs team. They've been the side most likely to win.
So here in this situation, you have 7 seconds, Kyle. You have a throw in. The best case scenario for you, if you're Wake Forest, you send it back to Escorbano and he sends it into the 18. No, they're going to go with a long throw. 7 seconds. Garrison tips it up in the air. Still in the air. Sidney Parrish, a bicycle by Jake Swallen. And that is how this will end. For Syracuse, the streak does not end. It will go to 20. But an absolute thriller here under the lights at Spry. Syracuse with an early goal, and then Wake Forest getting into business, or getting back to business and fighting